Hey, what's up, 819S? Today I want to talk about the uncomfortable kindness of Japanese people. What does that mean? Sometimes Japanese people can be so incredibly kind that it makes you feel uncomfortable. That seems like a very strange concept or very strange idea, but if I explain a few stories, I think you'll understand what I mean. I think the very first time it ever happened to me was when I was living in Kagawa Prefecture when I first came to Japan. I think it must have been 2 or 3 weeks after I had first arrived in Japan, very, very soon. And I was at a ramen shop eating dinner, and there were some people next to me. There was a beautiful lady around my age, and then a whole bunch of people that were with her. It almost seemed like her entourage or something. And her and I started talking, and then some of the people with her and I started talking, and it was kind of broken English and broken Japanese. They didn't really speak English, and I didn't really speak Japanese that much at that point. Just very, very basic, like, how much is this, or what color is that, or something. It was really hard conversation, but they were so happy to have a conversation with a foreign person, with an American person. I didn't know it immediately, but they had paid for my food, and they left, and probably 30 seconds after that I asked, check please, and I wanted to go, and they said no, she already paid for you. And I was like, what do you mean she already paid? And she's like, oh, she paid for you. And I was like, really? Why? And he's like, I don't know. So I went outside, and they were still outside. They were getting ready to leave. And I said, oh, thank you so much for paying. You don't have to do that. Why? Oh. And she was just so happy to have spoken with a foreign person that she paid for my food. This pattern has happened to me more than a dozen times in 12 years. Recently, not so much because I don't go out to restaurants as much. But a lot of times, even in Tokyo, in Kichijoji and areas like that, I've had people pay for my food because I had a 10-minute conversation with them in broken English or broken Japanese. And every time it happens, I should feel happy about it because they were so happy to meet me that they decided to pay, but I feel really uncomfortable because I don't want people to pay for me. I'm capable of paying myself. That's why I went to that restaurant. Another example, it happened when I first came to Japan again, but this time in Takamatsu. Takamatsu is a pretty big city in Kagawa. I think it's the biggest city in Kagawa Prefecture. And at this time we didn't have GPS. We didn't have maps on our phones or anything. So, what is that? Just wood on the side of the road? We didn't have GPS, we didn't have maps on our phone, and we were looking, my friend and I were looking for a shop. And we had gone to Takamatsu and we had rented bicycles from in front of the station because a lot of cities in Japan have bicycle rental places where you can rent a bicycle for the day. And we were trying to find this store, and we stopped. We had a paper map printed out. We were holding the paper map and we're kind of matching up the roads because in Japan streets don't really have names. If you look right here, it says Machida Kaido. So this street has a name, but it's pretty rare for all streets to have names like we do in America. So we're holding up the map and trying to work out, are we going in the right direction or not? And we decide to stop at this tiny little shop. It's like somebody's house, and the front room was selling tobacco and candy and stuff. It was like a little family-run convenience store, but it wasn't really a convenience store. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. We went in and we asked the lady, excuse me, where is this shop? And we showed her the map, and she started trying to explain to us, but we didn't really understand her. We kept saying, no, okay, I got it, and she sort of noticed that we didn't understand perfectly, but I guess in a way we did understand, but we didn't understand 100%. And we went out, got back on our bikes, and we started riding, and then suddenly we hear a car horn honking, and we turn around and look, and the car pulled out of the house that we had asked directions at, and I think the lady's husband was in the car, and he was driving alongside us on the road really, really slowly and pointing to us pointing to us like, go straight here, turn here, and he followed us all the way to the shop. Instead of followed us, I'd say, and he guided us all the way to the shop we were looking for. And then when we reached the intersection and we noticed the shop, he just like honked the horn again and waved and drove away. And we were like, what the heck was that? That was so weird. And I think it happens quite a bit. I've had a few other experiences where I asked for directions. Even when my Japanese was a lot better, I understood the directions perfectly. There was absolutely no problem. I don't think I had a confused look on my face or anything. But the person still decided it was better if he had taken me to the place I was asking for instead of just standing there. So it happened in Shinjuku Station. It's a little bit of a difficult station to navigate, and I was meeting a friend there, and they were in an exit that I was unfamiliar with. Asked somebody, excuse me, how do I get to Westgate? And then he was like, oh, go this way, this way, this. Okay, no problem, thanks. And he's like, here, I'll show you. And I was like, no, it's okay. Oh no. But I felt really, really uncomfortable. I'm like, why? You don't have to. Nice. Like, why? You don't have to take me there. I can find it. I know. I understood your directions. And he was like, no, it's okay. I got nothing going on. I was like, geez. And that's it. He walked with me all the way to meet my friend. When I finally found my friend, he said, you know, there it is. And I said, thank you very much. And then he walked back to Eastgate where he was standing. I was like, this was so weird, dude. Thing is, because you're in a foreign country and they recognize you as being a foreigner, as being not Japanese, they want to be kind and friendly to you, maybe more so than they would be to a Japanese person. And I think part of it is because they want you to know that Japanese people are kind. And it's true. There are a lot of unkind people, but I would say the majority of people I've encountered in Japan have been incredibly kind and incredibly generous. The point where it makes you uncomfortable, I think it can't be helped. Japanese say shoganai, right? I don't really want to fight. I don't really want to argue with them. I accept their generosity and accept their kindness, and just go about my life. Although I may have felt uncomfortable, I was really happy and grateful for the kindness that they showed me. You know, so you go to some other countries, people may or may not be as kind to you, so you should appreciate the good things in life, right? If people were extra kind, it's a good thing. This is the building I was looking for. So, I've been inspired by a lot of things. I've always wanted to look for like abandoned buildings and stuff like that. I did a quick Google search of abandoned buildings near me, and this was one that came up. And it's not necessarily that it's abandoned that I wanted to see it. It's because it looks like a medieval castle. I think it looks like it's actually in use by someone because there's a lot of stuff you can see inside the windows. It's unique for sure. So I think it's a little extreme to say that if you come to Japan you should expect that kind of kindness, because I don't think all Japanese people are going to do that to all foreign people every time. But I think if you do encounter an experience that's something really kind, that actually is so kind to the point it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, just roll with it, because they're not doing it because they think you're stupid or because they whatever. It's not a negative reason. They're doing it because they want to be kind and they want you to enjoy your stay in the country. So just accept it and enjoy it. You don't have to give people tips if the shop staff does something kind for you. You don't have to give them any extra money or anything like that. Just accept what they've given you and keep moving on. That's it. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow. Ride every day.